Hey guys, put your adult diapers on because we've got a brand new episode of the INTERN-net Show right here on Oneofus.net. Now this week we're looking at some of the things that have happened during the week. So we've got Spiderman, Sinister Six, Venom spin-offs. We've also got Sarah Connor has been cast in the new Terminator, and also the Interstellar trailer has hit the interwebs. And also we've got the death of Peter O'Toole, unfortunately. And then we're going to look at the VGX Awards, which happened last week. And yeah, that was something that happened. It wasn't very good. So let's get straight into it. This is INTERN-net Show, and I am Chris Harrison. Let's go. Okay, so the first unfortunate piece of news is the fact that Peter O'Toole has passed away. Another significant loss in the creative industry. Not someone who was working anymore. He retired last year, but someone who had a great influence on a lot of people and a lot of significant roles within cinema, so Lawrence of Arabia and things like that. And he also had great influence and great experiences in the old Vic, a lot of Shakespeare and things like that. A lot of things that I sort of more familiar with Peter. And there's a great story that's been told many times where Peter was always known for his drinking and excessive partying and things like that. And one day he had met up with some people to have lunch. There was a lot of alcohol consumed at this lunch, and he decided to take them to the theatre to see a show. Absolutely hammered, they get their tickets, they sit down, and, Peter kind of just turns around to him and goes, "Shit, I'm in this show," and has to run backstage and get his outfit on and go do the show. One of many really great stories about Peter, and someone who will be sadly missed. He's also a symbol of something greater that we're kind of losing in today's society, which is genuine talent and genuine creativity. Today a lot of the industry is full of people who are very attractive, a lot of models who become actors, but they're not trained and they're not in any way kind of experienced or have knowledge in the things that the actor's training. And it's very, very concerning, very disappointing for people who do train. And I think the theatre environment's it's definitely better for this. But it really frustrates me when people are well within their rights to decide, I want to do a bit of acting, I want to try that craft, I want to try and get into that industry. But when people, go around parading their breasts, or they go around and do things with no care to train or to understand the craft, understand what came before it, study things like Stanislavski, Breck, anything like that, it really, really kind of just pisses me off that people don't take the time to actually, like any kind of creative craft or any kind of industry, any kind of anything, take the time to actually study it a little bit and just become more appreciative of how it actually works, rather than just, I'm an actor now, cast me in things. And I see that more and more often in the industry, and also in the indie industry. A lot of people just suddenly decide that they are an actor and will throw themselves out there. And again, with the people who are more attractive, those are the people that are cast because it makes the film look more Hollywood or however, and it's just it really does suck. But yeah, another great loss to the community. So in more lighter news, the trailer for Chris Nolan's Interstellar hit the web, and it's a really great trailer. It's a really great trailer because it doesn't give a lot away. And something I really like seeing old stock footage of events in widescreen in HD. There's something about that grainy footage that's actually really quite interesting. But it hits on something again that's very much on people's minds. This idea that we've kind of lost our way in terms of space travel and NASA and all that kind of thing. A lot of people, a lot of the older generation, they've got the moon landing to look at and how inspirational that was, and all this kind of thing. And I've seen projects try to get off the air, based on this, trying to drive this inspiration, I guess. And we've kind of lost that. We don't really have any kind of space flight going on right now, and there is, I think there's a significant loss with that. But I understand the fact that people, the government, NASA, they don't necessarily have the money or the capabilities to do that right now, and there's perhaps more important things to look at, but are they looking at them anyway? But yeah, I think we kind of missing something there, and the trailer kind of hits on that, and hits on the fact that our best missions and experiences are yet to come. So I'm looking forward to Interstellar. It looks very interesting. Again, trailer doesn't give much away, but then that's a great thing. So Interstellar, definitely check it out. So last week we talked a little bit about Terminator Genesis, the fifth Terminator film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it seems that they have found their Sarah Connor with Emilia Clarke, star of Game of Thrones. For me, this kind of dictates where they're perhaps taking the direction of this film, with the inclusion of Sarah Connor again. Perhaps a young Sarah Connor once more, because Emilia Clarke is very young, she's very beautiful, and she has an interesting look, so I think this could be an interesting choice. And again, she is very beautiful, so I'm sure she'll sell some tickets based on that. And the fact that she's a popular Game of Thrones actor as well. It could be a good thing. I still have my reservations about another Terminator film. Is it a reboot? Is it not a reboot? Is it a reboot but within the canon? And all these kind of weird stuff. But Emilia Clarke, star featuring. But Emilia Clarke, she's going to be Sarah Connor, and that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it's also been announced this week that both Venom and the Sinister Six are going to have spin-off films from Spider-Man. Now, I don't know too much about the Sinister Six. I'm aware of Venom, of course, and it seems like they're really pushing to create this expanded universe. Again, we were talking last week about X-Men and all that kind of thing, maybe sharing a universe and all this kind of stuff. And it seems like they really are pushing this new sort of Marvel universe with all these characters that are not owned by Disney and Marvel. And so yeah, this could be quite interesting. My only worry again is, are they just using it too much? Are they going to completely blow away the franchise with oversaturation? And this is kind of on the heels of the news that Andrew Garfield, who plays Peter Parker, isn't sure whether or not he's going to come back for any more films after the fourth one. So the question becomes, do they create a revolving door situation like Bond, where they change the actor every so often? Or, if they're having all these spin-off films, which will no doubt have spin-off sequels, it becomes harder to then just reboot the franchise. And that was something that was quite difficult for them to do with after the Sam Raimi films. A lot of people didn't like Spider-Man 3, but it could have redeemed itself through a sequel, but instead they felt they needed to reboot the franchise. It's going to be much harder if there are 5 other films around that are having its own sequels and things like that. And I actually only watched The Amazing Spider-Man last night and enjoyed it more than I thought I would, actually. Whilst I do think it was too soon and it kind of retreaded a lot of the same imagery, of course because it was an origin story, I found it quite engaging. I found Andrew Garfield quite good. surprisingly. I also thought he would make a good Anakin if they had been making the prequels now, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought. I'm more worried now about the sequel because it looks like there's a lot going on, a lot of action, and maybe it's just going to get a little bit muddled. But what do you guys think about that? You're a Spider-Man fan of Venom, of course, is a very popular character. Sinister Six, I'm not sure how popular they are. I know they're probably quite popular in the comic book community, but whether or not general film audiences and Spider-Man fans, if they know them or not, I'm not really sure. But yeah. yeah, gamers, man. They're such basement living idiots who have no social skills, and I don't even know why I'm here, to be honest. They just asked me to come in. I really, really don't want to be. Hey guys, I'm Joe McHale, and welcome to the VGX Awards. So I got my cup of tea for Tea Time Topics, and this week I want to talk a little bit about the VGX Awards. Now, the VGX Awards, originally the VGA Awards, were created to give out Game of the Year awards for games. Best game, best action game, all that kind of stuff. Those are kind of arbitrary, and the main reason for this award ceremony was to announce new games. And some generally high announcements have been made here. Things like Skyrim were announced at these award ceremonies. And this year was a little bit of a rebranding, trying to reach a more mainstream audience and get games more accepted. And Jeff Keighley, the host of the show, known from game trailers, Spike TV, someone who hosts a lot of these kind of things. He's big in E3, that kind of stuff. He's a great guy. He clearly knows the industry, knows games, knows how to interview people, knows what questions to ask and how to treat people as he's interviewing them, and how to treat the audience of the shows. The second host that they decided to get in, Joel McHale, wasn't so successful, shall we say. He was very offensive. He was very insulting towards gamers, to the gaming audience, to pretty much every single person in the room at the event. He was disrespectful to developers, to people there to promote their games. He didn't understand gaming culture, and he made very harsh references, very offensive references to gamers who live at home in their basements, to gamers who are unintelligible, and on live TV, on primetime TV, and he generally set this tone of, why should we watch this when you very openly don't want to be there. He at one point said, you know, I just want to go home. And poor Jeff, who really looked like, holy fuck, what have we done by getting this guy in here? And it was pretty much a train wreck the whole way through. I think there was one exciting announcement, and that was from an indie developer.
I'm an actual gamer, yes. I know the difference between Miss Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. One of them is his mom. I'm not sure which. I'm thrilled to be here, mostly because I'm really, really good at scoring free stuff from developers. I'm excited. What you won't see, the same old award show. And you also won't see my naked buttocks. I'm sorry, I have to draw the line somewhere. I'm not a piece of meat. You can also watch us on Twitch and Steam, which coincidentally I've nicknamed my genitals. And by the way, if you don't see a game at this year's VGX, it's because, like the female orgasm, it doesn't actually exist. Jeff?
All right, yes, clearly. All right, well, thanks very much.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I kind of do, but there's a guy over there doing this, which I thought means
thank you, Randy,
there's a gerbil
really
running on a
appreciate
wheel.
You guys announcing the game.
Yes, feel the immense power and responsibility surge through you as you type into your smartphone's teeny tiny keyboard with your flamin' hot Cheetos encrusted fingertips. Things are just getting started, and not just inside the folds of my adult diaper. You see, Cammy, may I call you Cammy? Our viewers get to decide who wins the Character of the Year award by voting at vote.vgxlive.com. And Cammy, I think you're pretty familiar with one of the candidates because you provided her voice, and we also spoke about her 2 minutes ago.
Yes.
Would you like to do the honors anyway? Yes. I guess we should have told you we were going to do this.
Oh, I didn't know.
This is like a campaign video.
Okay.
here.
Okay.
It's like, this is why they should vote for you.
You know, we announced the launch date. What more do you want? I mean, you're always digging more.
he's already
You're
talked about his
already
theme.
going off prompter. What is this?
We will
took off
see
his
what they
tie?
say on the internet, Reggie, because I believe there'll be some threads right now expecting a little bit
You
more.
mean criticism on the internet? That seems rare.
And this is really, really disappointing because the VGA, the VGX, it's a chance for people who don't necessarily understand games, don't necessarily know games, to get an insight into that world and to see how it operates and how people are smart, intelligent, creative. And this was all the things about games that are wrong, all rolled into one show. And shame on Joel for being there, shame on Joel for treating those people with the disrespect that he did, shame on Joel for just generally living at all after that, to be honest. It really, it was offensive. It was offensive to women, it was offensive to every single person, and he just made every single discussion really awkward. He made the announcement of the game winners really awkward, it wasn't exciting, and just shame, absolute shame. Now, he wasn't the only bad thing about this show. The kind of disregard for what should be shown at this show, for the things that people were bringing, was also quite shocking. So we had some nice projects such as Telltale's Game of Thrones, Telltale's Borderlands, but then we had Nintendo, we had Reggie coming to an award ceremony, a prime time thing with millions of people watching, to show a character which had been leaked that will be in Donkey Kong. Now, I think that demonstrates something a bit more important, which is Nintendo's lack of... They don't get it. They don't get why people watch these things. They don't get why they should be there, what they should be showing. They could have announced a new Metroid game. They could have teased anything, but instead they had to make Jeff go through an entire playthrough of a level with a character that we already knew was coming. And you could see in Jeff's face, he was like, oh crap, is this all you brought? And again, it's just this thing about Nintendo being out of touch, something that we're maybe talking about again next week when we look at things that have happened over the year. But if you saw this show, or if you caught it, you caught the highlights after the fact, after the controversy came out, do let me know, and do tell me what you thought of it. If you liked it, why did you like it, and all that kind of stuff, and do comment below on that. Okay guys, so I'm finished my tea. That's the end of this week. Next week we'll look at a little bit more of what's happened throughout the year, favourite films, all that kind of stuff, and also if there's anything else going on in the week. So do follow us on Twitter, do come over and like us on Facebook, do head over to Oneofus.net where you can find really great podcasts, really great shows. We've got some really great stuff coming up in the run up to Christmas, such as gift guides and all that kind of stuff. So you can follow me on Twitter at Chris_Harrison_. That's a bit of a mouthful, but you can follow me there. You can comment below, you can subscribe, you can check out the new series of In Defense Of, which now has its own sort of series, which you can go and watch. The first episode is already up, and it's Batman and Robin. Now, you have to remember that we're looking entirely ironic at those things, and the worse the things are, the funnier it becomes trying to defend them. So do make your suggestions of things that can be defended. We've got some good ones lined up and some good suggestions, such as Star Wars, maybe Jar Jar, and all kinds of great stuff. So do come over there and check it all out. And I will see you next week for more shenanigans, more tea, and yeah, until next week, bye bye.